It's an Unbreakable Sports Record Hall of Fame nominee coming up at the end of the show. We're also going to go over some NBA and NHL props as well as our sneaky play of the day and our stat of the day, everything to get you ready to turn a profit today and the next couple days. Welcome to the Road to Millions. Andy and Steve from WagerTalk and SportsMemo.com. Let's get right into it, Steve. I want to start off with actually with your baseball future. We got baseball that starts next week. You've got a really nice future that we want to look at. We're finally getting done with some of the baseball content. And, everyone's focusing on March Madness, but baseball starts next week. And once it does, it feels like 37 straight months of baseball, of regular season baseball
You always
games.
say that.
I always say that, and I always say that it drives me nuts because you could work really, really hard for 9 months, handicap the shit out of baseball for 9 months straight, and at the end of the season, you're up 2.3 units.
Yeah.
It's
a fun season, though. I always love it, though. It's where we started together, so I always look at it as
we were number one. We were number one in that season when we started.
2021? Was it 2021? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was right. Yeah, it was right now.
Yeah, we had a really good season last year, so I chuckle at it because it's just like day in and day out, it's just nonstop baseball, and then at the end of the year, you can be up 2 units. And you're like, wow, I'm glad I spent all that time to make 2 units. But let's get to the future. You've been writing a ton of articles, and all that content is out there on the website WagerTalk.com. So let's focus on the Detroit Tigers. What do you like about them?
Yeah, so I'm looking at their over 80.5 wins, and then also for them to win the American League Central at plus 350. They finished last year 78-84. But one thing that really stood out to me and impressed me during doing this research is that they dominated the Central Division, 8-5 against the Twins, 9-4 against Cleveland, 10-3 against Kansas City, 8-4 against Chicago. So their worst record against any division rival was 8-5. So they dominated their division. They have a young core of players. I love Skubal as a starting pitcher. I feel like he's a dark horse, Cy Young potential guy. He's not going to win it, most in all likelihood, but he's a dark horse type of guy to get there. Spencer Torkelson is a great player as well that I'm really backing this year. And I just think the Twins are going to take a step back a little bit. They're the favorite to win the division at negative 115. And then you have Detroit and Cleveland both at plus 350. The reason why and you can't even Kansas City and Chicago, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about either one of them winning the division. But the reason why I knock off the Guardians is they have a weak lineup, and I also feel like Bieber, it's in his last year of his contract. So if they struggle any sort of way heading into the deadline, they're gonna unload Bieber here. And then as far as the Twins go, they lost their ace in Sonny Gray. He was their best pitcher last year, and he isn't on the team anymore. They also went 18-10 down the stretch last year to win the division and finish with that win total. So what I say here is I like the Tigers to win over 80.5 games. To go above 500 for the year, and I think they have a shot at the division. If it's going to be a team to come out of any division out of nowhere, it's going to be this one because a lot of weak teams in this division. Only the Twins is who's everyone's looking at essentially as far as the favorite here. So I would say sprinkle that plus. I love that plus 350 for the Tigers to win the division. Sprinkle that, but make your main play over 80.5 wins. And if you cash that, you'll have some profit at least.
Love it. Futures have been really, really good. That's been one of the themes that I've had, and I think you and I have had. I know Corbin has had it over the last year, just really saying, look how much value there is in these futures. My gosh, at the end, I know futures can kind of get a little bit of a bad rap just because you think, well, I don't want to tie up money for that long, but you put the bet in, and 9 months later, if you have a really good futures, it's just bang, there's 10 units added in. And that's kind of consistently what we've been doing with some of these sports. I can't even remember the last sport where we had a losing in future. We've turned profits in MLB, in NBA, in MLB, NFL, NBA. We even did it in Formula One with future. So I'm when I say all in, I don't mean I'm all in on the futures, but I'm perfectly fine. I have my NBA futures and guaranteed to turn a profit. I have 2 that are kind of close, and if one of them goes my way, it's a huge profit. So I'm with you, man. I'm down with the futures. I know this is something you and I have talked about.
Yeah, I love them as well, and I think we're 18-8 together across those NHL. I'm not NHL, NFL, MLB, and NBA. I think we're 18-8 combined in our time together working on those. So I'm really proud of our futures work, and I worked really hard on these MLB articles. I wrote one for every team, for each division, for each award. Yeah, I've been working on it for over a month now, and I actually have an MLB futures pack posted on sportsmemo.com right now. It has all my favorite plays in there. And the Tigers is actually one of them, over 80.5 wins for the Tigers with a sprinkle on that division is one of them.
Nice, nice. Well, we'll be talking MLB for sure next week. I'll be able to get all my futures in. But yeah, I'm excited about the futures market. I think it's a really nice hidden gem. So, all right, guys, let's get into it. We'll start with let's go to the sneaky play of the game here. Grayson Allen over 2.5 made 3 pointers. Steve, this one was yours. What do you like about Grayson Allen?
This is a guy that burnt me. You know that a couple weeks ago when he grabbed that last rebound on me, I had his under in points plus rebounds. But what I noticed about him is he's been taking a lot more 3-point attempts recently. Over his last 4 games, he's averaging 3.7 makes, where he's only averaging 2.8 per game on the season. And then Philly's been allowing a ton of 3-pointers to opposing shooting guards. What is it, fourth most over the last 15 games. You see here, Allen has a ton of volume the last couple of games, 9 and 11 attempts. If he gets that many attempts, you got to love him to hit 3 tonight. And yeah, he's been shooting a ton more. And this is a great matchup for him tonight against a team that struggled to defend his position on the perimeter.
Yeah, I like Grayson Allen here. The Suns haven't been great the last week or so, but I don't know. They kind of have the feeling of a team that gets into the playoffs and all of a sudden starts doing some damage. I think they might be kind of a buy low. Like I said, I know they haven't looked great in the regular season, but this team, just get them to the playoffs and let them cook. So I'm with you, Grayson. I mean, is Grayson Allen like most improved? Can you be most improved when you've been in the league as long
That
as
long,
Grayson?
yeah.
Where does this season come from? I mean, like if there was like most surprising
Yeah.
season, isn't it Grayson Allen? Like,
Well,
where
you
did
keep
this come
saying, I keep
from?
thinking the reason I had that under a couple weeks ago is because like you look at it and you're like, how is he going to get any work? You know, against again when you got Durant, Beal, you got these three Booker, you got these three guys taking a ton of shots, and you know how is he going to get anything? But he manages, and you know in the confusion sometimes he gets these wide open threes, and you know if he's wide open, he's burying those. So
Yeah, yeah. Grayson Allen. What a completely underreported or rated season he's having. It's come out of nowhere. It's been pretty fun to be honest. So we're gonna get to the stat of the day. It's baseball related, as is our Unbreakable sports record. Hall of Fame nominee. So let's talk a little NBA and NHL. Not a ton of games tonight here. The only thing I would bring up here is some of these guys from Arizona have not been getting it done. There's a couple of them here. I'll just pull up the game here. Dallas is, I don't know, Dallas, they can be really good at times and then they can give up quite a few goals. But I was looking at Sean Dursey here. It's minus 150 and he gets a point every once in a while. So if you're going to play him, I think you just really stick with it. The problem is Arizona actually does score quite a few goals, and this guy's on the first power play line. I actually don't know how he doesn't have more points. Like, if you're on the first power play line, I feel like you just accidentally fall into some assists. Like, oops, I passed it to somebody who passed it to somebody and they scored. But I think this might be a pretty decent spot. You see, Dallas just does not commit very many penalties. They're not on they don't play a man down very often. But I don't know, this Arizona team is confusing. It's not uncommon for them to score 3 or 4 goals in certain games. So I'm kind of confused how a couple of these guys just aren't getting points like Lawson Krause. But they're just not getting done. Kraus is kind of the same thing. I would lean Dursey. Dursey's got a better price, and as you can see, Kraus has more points recently in the last 30 games, but it's not a great matchup against Dallas, so I could see going that way. Do you have anything in NHL tonight?
Yeah, I didn't have a ton today with just these 3 games. There was nothing that really stood out to me as far as NHL that I really liked tonight.
Okay. There's some pretty decent streaks going on for shots on goal. Philip Denault, he's been going over a ton, but it's minus 188. I don't know. I don't feel too bad. I've changed my tune on this. I think there are some props that are you're fine playing up to minus 200. The Andrew Wiggins, they finally moved it. I can get to it. 'Cause Andrew Wiggins was at half a 3-pointer, and it was like minus 240, and he hit it like 14 out of 15 games. Like, who cares if it's minus 240 when he's just hitting one? But we'll get into that one because I was going to bring it up. They moved it to 1.5, and you know what to do.
Don't, yeah, zag the other way, that's for sure.
Go the other way. So, yeah, Phil Denault, you can see he's just been lights out. So minus 188, not that bad. Minnesota's a pretty good matchup. So that was the only other one I noticed today, but you end up paying quite a bit of juice on those. So let's jump over to NBA. I'll just, since I brought it up, I'll bring it up and we can go over. I don't know why we don't play it more often, but we don't. So, all right. So we go to 3-pointers made, and this is the one I was talking about, Andrew Wiggins. Okay. So this play was half a 3-pointer. And you go, look, I mean, look at this chart. Like, he always hit one. Always hit one. And so recently he's been hitting two. And I don't know why I was so terrified to put him in. I mean, this is just easy money sitting out there, and I missed it as a lazy line. I think part of the problem was I saw that how easy it was, and it was going to go to 1.5. So the premise that Steve and I talk about is when you're playing a play for a long time. We saw this with LeBron when they bumped him up to 2.5 3-pointers. We saw this with Austin Reeves when they bumped him up to 2.5 3-pointers. When you've been playing something and the books finally make the adjustment, it's just like 90% of the time it hits going the other way. It's like the books adjust at the perfect time. So look what happens with this play now that it's 1.5. The under hits quite a bit. So now all of a sudden there's value on the 1.5. So the books made the adjustment. It's not gonna surprise me if he has 1 or 0 tonight. Like it's tried and true on this method when the books make the adjustment on the props like that. So Andrew Wiggins, he's been a really good overplay, but that was at half a 3-pointer. They moved up to 1.5. Now I think it's time to play the under. So, all right, what was the game you wanted to look at, Steve?
I actually have an under as well. I'm looking at DeAndre Ayton in the late game, under 20.5 points. If you look at Ayton on the season, at home he's only averaging 17.5 per game. And now he walks into the Clippers, who have allowed the second least points to opposing centers over the last 30 games. He's actually had this weird matchup with Zubac, where he's fallen. He's only scored 18 or less against him now in six straight games. So he's fallen short against him in 6 straight. This game also has that sneaky blowout potential where, you might see him miss some minutes at the end here if we see a blowout. That's something I love factoring into these unders, is if you get a game with a big spread or a good chance at a blowout, then if you're just really rooting for a ton of points at some point for one team or the other to pour it on and keep that player on the bench for you and keep you under whatever the total may be.
Yeah, I got burned on Monday on the Bulls. They were teetering on the edge of blowing out Portland. They let it back into it, and then starters come back in for Chicago, and I lose on an under. So, yeah, hopefully that one gets the blowout treatment tonight. So, it's the Clippers in Portland looking at DeAndre Ayton. What's another game you were interested in looking at tonight?
I was looking at Cade Cunningham's over against your Pacers tonight. He's sitting there at 22.5. I mean, he has fallen short in his last 4 games. But if you look at it, the last 2 are against Miami. They're like 27th in pace of play. Now you get the pace up spot against the Pacers, who are second in pace of play. And he's dominated. If you click on how he's done against Indiana this season, 30, 31, and 23. It's basically crushed. He's gotten just over one time, but crushed it twice. So as long as we avoid the blowout in this one as well, it's another one where you could potentially see a blowout. But in the NBA with these games, sometimes it doesn't. It almost, you can see a game where there's a big spread and there's more likely chance of a blowout, but sometimes they do come out of nowhere. I'm going to take his over tonight, though, at 22.5. Seems like a little bit of a low number against the Pacers.
Yeah, Pacers don't seem like they're blown out. They're not a consistent team that blows them out. Halliburton still can't shoot. Um, I wonder. I was actually wondering what the Halliburton 3-pointers are. Let's see. I mean, they're still they're still putting 2.5 out there. Um, plus 100. Listen, this guy can't get it done since the All Star game. I know it was cute that he hit 10 out of 14 in the All Star game, but look at him since then. He's hitting one. And they keep having the number at 2.5, and they keep saying he's going to break out to it, but people are forgetting. He just came back too early from that injury. He has not been. He's just not been the same guy. So I don't know what the answer is besides if you just decide to sit him out a week or two. But Tyrese Halliburton under his 3-pointers. I mean, Detroit stinks on defense, but it doesn't matter when Halliburton's going 1 for 9 from 3-pointers.
Right.
Like it's just like 3-pointers is a lot. That's a lot to get. And if you got somebody else on the team that gets it going, he's not going to get the attempts, and he's certainly not going to get enough to get over this 2.5. So I like Tyrese Halliburton under his 3-pointers yet again. And even money too. That's the nice thing. Even money. So I just wait until that thing goes down to 1.5 3-pointers, and then you can pop the over. So
Man, that All Star game really sent him into a tailspin, huh? It's just,
it's a
yeah,
combination. The injury. You remember me talking about it. Like I was watching the game when he did it. They had to carry him off the court.
yeah.
Like
You
a
thought he was
hamstring
done. You thought he
injury.
was done, right? I mean, you
I
thought
was
he was
like,
done.
there's 2 months. Like forget it. And then 2 weeks later, there he is. He's back, and you just wonder like how back. How what percentage is that leg operating at? It's not 100. And then you couple in the All Star thing, and it's just kind of been a recipe for disaster for him, just for shooting. So, yeah, yeah. I like Cade. I was looking at him as 3-pointers, but I like how you went after him with the points. That's a good one. That's a good one. So,
Yeah, if he gets it with the threes, he should get it with the points as well.
yeah. Any other NBA plays you like for tonight?
Those were my two favorites, and I do like that Allen one as well with the sneaky play as well. I feel like that's a good one. It's a little bit juicy now. It moved up to about 135. It was 120 earlier, but I still would look towards that as well.
That's all right. That's all right. All right, guys, what do we have up for myself? I have a 5% cross sport parlay that is up, and we told you guys, we've been telling you for a while, MMA is going to be where we make a lot of our money over the next month or so. We already have 2 Bellator plays that are up. We have a UFC play that is up. We will have more. And bare knuckle, those plays will start to come out Friday morning. I would just suggest getting a 7-day pass. If you're not all access, get the 7-day pass. You use the promo code Lang7, gets $30 off a 7-day pass. It includes the 5-sport cross sport parlay, includes all of our golf, NBA, NHL, and more importantly, all those Bellator, UFC, bare knuckle plays. So setting up for a really, really big weekend. I know everyone's concentrating on college basketball this weekend, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of profits out there in other sports besides college basketball. You can be watching college basketball and be cashing in on all these plays. Bellator starts at noon on Friday. Like nobody's paying attention to what's going on in Bellator. It's just
Yeah, right.
it's lost, and I'm telling you, there's so much value and so many good bets. So encourage everyone to take advantage of that. Promo code Lang7, $30 off a 7-day pass. Steve, you're in play big in college basketball tonight, correct?
Yeah, I have a 5% play up for one of the first 4 games. It starts tonight, and 9-4 college hoops run. Number 1 over at Sports Memo since February 10th. Looking to get to that 2-month streak where I'm hoping to be number 1 when I hit the 10th of next month. And I have a code as well, Steve S7. Gets you the same thing, $7 off a 30-day pass. And yeah, the 5% play. I'm pretty excited about it tonight.
All righty. So go grab that. Nice little college basketball run. Let's get into our stat of the day. It is in the MLB, and then we're going to get into this Unbreakable Sports Record Hall of Fame. I can't believe it's minus 110. Walk us through the stat of the day. You found this one. This just feels like a rinse and repeat.
So the Astros have won the AL West every season since 2017. Outside of the COVID shortened season of 2020, the 60-game season, They're negative 110 to win the division this season. The Rangers are the defending champions, sitting at plus 230. But I'm with you. If you like the Astros, I do too. Because the reason why I don't like the Rangers this year is I just feel like one, no, they're not sneaking up on anyone this year, and two, a big thing here is that Scherzer and DeGrom are going to both miss most of the season with injuries. They're probably not going to pitch this season if at all. It'll be at
Wait,
the very end.
you mean missing those guys is going to have a
DeGrom,
negative impact on that team, Steve?
and can you believe they're hurt? DeGrom's injured. Can you believe that? It's like that's wild, huh?
What?
But the big thing here is that you move Eovaldi into the number one spot. And last year he got pretty, he worked into the postseason. And when we saw him do that with Boston, he really struggled the years after that. When Boston threw him out there that year, in the postseason they were throwing out there in relief starting after he started a game. It was just he was just throwing like crazy. He didn't get that extensively worked with the Rangers, but he did get some extra work. And we've just seen him. I'm expecting him, as solid as he'll be at points, he's going to struggle just because we've seen him have a heavy workload, he struggled in the past, and he had a long postseason push last year. You'd be more comfortable if he was your number 3 guy, but as your number 1, I just think Texas. I think they'll probably get a wild card spot in the end, probably be in second place, but I like Houston to win the division here.
Houston's just built for the regular season, in that they can stack up a bunch of wins with that lineup, and they're just kind of made for the regular season. I mean, 2017, it's not a short sample size. They just keep reloading with these guys.
And they're also, every time you look up, they're in the championship series. I think there's a run to it. I think it's 7 in a row. That they've been, because they were there last year with, Texas knocked them off.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I like that one a lot. All right, let's get into the Unbreakable Sports Record Hall of Fame. But please, guys, hit the like button. Stop what you're doing. Hit the like button. Leave us a comment. Tell us if you got a Sports Record Hall of Fame nominee that you'd like us to go over, or just tell us what your best bet is. What do you like going into the NCAA tournament? Always love seeing what you guys are up to, seeing what's been working. A lot of good content up on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. We got daily videos on the NBA and NCAA. The Bellator video is up. We're going to have the bare knuckle video up Friday, as well as our UFC video. So we will have plenty of content, and there will be a lazy line of the week video coming up tomorrow. So tons of content. You can see myself and Steve breaking down daily games as well as other sports. But let's get into the Unbreakable Sports Record Hall of Fame. Here it is. Steve, we've got a baseball manager who used to wear a suit when he managed. Look at this. Oh, Connie Mack is this week's nominee. Most losses by MLB manager at 3,948. That is a lot of losing. The spoiler is it's not really because he was a terrible manager. It's that he managed for 53 years.
Yep. 50 of them on the same team as well.
Oh my God. I mean, this guy this is like the Tiger Woods of Unbreakable Sports Record Hall of Fame. The guy, he also has the most wins, by the way.
Yeah.
So, all right, start talking to us about Connie Mack here, Steve.
Yeah, so like you said, he also has the most wins at 3,731. We haven't had one. I think we've kind of had three or four in a row that haven't made it in. So I felt like we kind of needed a shoe in here, and this is one of those ones right here. I mean, you look at La Russa's not even sniffing him at second most at 36 seasons by La Russa, by the way, pretty impressive there. I even thought of a guy like, I felt like Francona recently is a guy that retired that you could look at, and he's way down there on the list. He only had 1,627 losses, and I mean, I didn't think he was going to be that high because he had success with Boston, with Cleveland as well, obviously. But yeah, just the longevity of this record will never be broken. This is just one that you don't even have to argue. It's just a funny one, I thought, as well, just based on how long this guy coached 2 different teams. One tenure, though, was the 1894 to 1896 season stint with Pittsburgh was really nothing compared to the 01 to 1950 stint. With it was just 50 straight years with the same team was amazing.
I can't wrap my head around it. So, yeah, there he is. Look at him. Look at him in all his glory there, managing in his suit, and he's holding a newspaper. It's just great. So, um, you would have to manage for 50 years and lose 79 games each year to catch Steve. What team's going to keep a guy around for more than 4 years if you're losing that many games? So this is about as no brainer as it gets, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just there's no way like a player would a manager would stick with the team for that long, like you said, and it's just something that only happened back in the day type of thing, and it's just not it's just as a shoe in one for us.
Most losses by MLB manager is going to be. I just. I mean that's gotta. I don't know if it's at the top, but it's gotta be close. Like
It's got to be up there with like the
it's
Gretzky
gotta
stuff, right?
be. Yeah, yeah. Most losses by by an MLB manager. What was it? All right, Connie Mack. Here, let's
Yeah,
go look and
it was the
see.
Philadelphia Athletics that he was with. I knew it was the Athletics. I just forgot which one. It was Philadelphia Athletics though. 50 seasons from 1901 to 1950. Retiring at age 87.
I mean, the Cal Ripken and Cy Young are pretty unattainable. Emmett Smith, the probably the Wayne Gretzky, NFL and NHL, Tiger Woods. There's some really really good ones, but squeaking up on 4,000 losses, you can't even find managers that manage 4,000 games. So that is such a great one, man. The pictures of him wearing the suit and the top hat are just, I mean,
Classic.
just classic, man. Those are great. So I don't know. I don't know who looks more ridiculous, like a guy in a full suit on a hot August day in Florida managing, or guys in their like mid 70s who are completely out of shape wearing a baseball jersey, like full outfit, who kind of look ridiculous. Like it feels like we could do better with the managers. Like it's okay if you let him wear like a polo shirt or and
Yeah,
like
right.
some
Yeah, like
slacks
a
or something. You don't have to put him in a onesie. Then it look some of them just look like they're in pajamas. They're not athletic. I don't know. I feel like we could do an entire show about what different coaches could wear. Like I don't understand why hockey coaches are in full suits. Like it's like I don't know. I just feel like we could do better for coaches' attire. The coaches' attire just doesn't seem to match like the sport. Like I like the basketball the best. I like what the coaches wear in NBA the best. My opinion.
yeah, I'm with you. I think that for baseball they could do something with like you are right. It would like a team polo. You're saying something like that, and like a
Yes.
yeah, a pair of just a regular pair of pants or something. Yeah, would look kind of almost like
Yeah.
dress like one of the guys from the front office type of deal or something like that. That would
Yes. If
work.
it's
Yeah,
cold, a really nice looking team hoodie on a warm day, just a collared, breathable, like short sleeve. Why are they? Why are they dressed like the outfielder? It makes no sense whatsoever.
yeah,
It looks so dumb to me, especially when they have to go waddling out there to argue with the umpire. It's just like, oh my god, like it looks. I don't know. It's one of my pet peeves. So there's a in UFC, there's a couple refs at ringside where they make them wear the striped like the NBA refs, and it was like you're not an NBA or NFL official. Why are you wearing the big black and white stripes? Just put him in a polo. Just put him
yeah,
in
right.
an orange, something different that signifies I'm with the company and I'm in an official one. But they're wearing these like big stripe ref shirts that don't none of them fit right. It looks like someone threw it to them as they were walking out. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's a one-off show. Is what do we think people like managers and coaches should wear? Because I think NBA gets it right, and I don't understand some of the other ones. So. All right, that's going to do it for it, guys. Make sure you take advantage of these plays. Steve's got a 5% play that goes off tonight. I've got a cross-sport parlay that goes off this weekend. You can use the promo codes. Lang7 gets $30 off 7-day pass. And Steve, what's your promo code?
It's Steve S7. Same thing, $30 off a 7-day pass as well.
All right. Well, we're going to kick off this weekend starting tonight with some winners. Good luck on all your plays. We'll see everyone next time on the Road to Millions.
Good luck, guys.